Want to thank you all for joining in today. I see a lot of familiar names and some unfamiliar names, so it's great to have you all here today. Of course, this is a part of our summer 2020 webinar series, and this is all about confidence and safety for move-in day and other events. Because as you know, your map platform is more than just a map. It is a communication device that you can put any sort of information that you want to have on there. So I'll go ahead and introduce myself. Most of you, or some of you, I should say, know me. My name is Jason Seskleba. I'm a client success manager with Concept 3D, and I've been with the company for over 4 years. Love being creative with you all, and we love to innovate our product from your ideas. So along with this webinar here, I'm sure you're going to have some inspiration as well. And we love that you share that information with us when you add some really interesting content to then, of course, deliver to your user base. We do have some more upcoming webinars here. So we are going to have the sign up in the chat box for you as well. There will probably be a couple emails coming out as the weeks go on. But as you can see, on Tuesday, August 25th, there will be a webinar for embedding your map, best practices, as well as understanding analytics for your maps and your tours. And of course, just like I had mentioned, you can find all of these previously recorded webinars at help.concept3d.com. All right. So moving on, today is the agenda here. We are going to have an overview of streamlining that communication for move-in day and, of course, other events in these crazy days of the coronavirus and the constant fluctuation of information. It's nice to be able to have a platform like ours where you can actually change that information in real time and deliver it by any means possible via social media, email, text messaging, and so on. So we will be demoing here today categories and locations, along with tours, top R button examples, and of course, the share button use cases that you can utilize, not just for sharing out there, you can actually create experiences on your map with that share button. So of course, we're going to show you how to create those experiences, jumping from the front end to the back end. And of course, if you have any kind of questions, please feel free to put it into the chat. But also, if we can't get to every single question, we will, of course, email you directly with the answer. And you can always schedule a time with your client success manager to learn more or to get your head wrapped around some idea that you may have and that you want to convey on your map. So as we're going through, here are some examples of events that you can portray onto your map. So of course, move-in day, very important day, busy day, hectic day, stressful day. So we want to be able to alleviate all of that and have all the information there possible. And of course, all other events can be stressful as well. So visitors and parents' day, alumni reunions, commencement ceremonies, and of course, anything that's unique to your campus, art festivals, fun runs and fundraisers, sports, and more. So lots of different ways you can utilize. There's just a couple examples here from our friends at Michigan Tech University, along with Colorado Boulder University as well. So moving on to the next, did you know? And if you didn't know, you're about to know you can have audio for every single stop on your tour. Okay, it just really helps out with guiding people through the experience. So you don't have to read everything verbatim that is in the description area. You can provide a humanized experience and pointing out specific things that you need to have people know. Okay, and we'll speak more to that during the demo. With the recording, I know that we're in times where we can't always access our departments. So you do not need professional recording equipment to have quality sound. This is an app that I recommend is one I personally use myself. It is Voice Record Pro 7. It is free. You do not need to purchase anything. So if there's a purchase option, just get the free one and it's great. You just need a quiet room, a place to put your phone, put it on a towel so it's not on a table, so there's no reverb or anything like that or vibration coming off of a table, and you will be good to go. Okay. And like I said, you can utilize the audio as a guide for your users, just like you would in a traditional tour. Right? When people come to campus, you don't just hand them a pamphlet and send them on, you have a tour guide go along with them. So think about it in that sense as well. A couple things to think about during this webinar, okay? What campus events that you've had in the past that were problematic for faculty? You know, lots of people not knowing where to go, what to do, people asking questions everywhere. These are the types of things that you can alleviate by utilizing these types of use cases here today. Also, what are some FAQs from those previous events? Think about what those FAQs were and incorporate that into the information that you provide in the categories, locations, tours, etc. And then what other on or off campus experience that you'd like to convey or market? Because again, our platform is a world platform. It's not just your campus. You can add any location in the world that you want to. All right. So the recording that we have here today, because of internet, we of course want to make things smooth for you as well. So this is a pre-recorded demo. It's about 20 minutes long. So as you're going along, make sure to put your comments or your questions in the chat box, and then we will have a live question Q&A at the end. All right. So without further ado, let's jump on into the recording. All right, everybody, let's have some fun, shall we? So like I said in the agenda, we're going to be going over categories and locations. Those are just the basics. And then we'll speak about the tour aspect of things, as well as the top bar buttons and how to utilize the share button to create some of these experiences, as well as get it out there on all the social media platforms and or via email, whatever you'd like to do and however you would like to convey. So, of course, the most important thing is when you're creating content, you need a category for it. So, I created a category right here up at the top. We are utilizing this Concept 3D sample map for this here today. This is the front end experience, of course, and I will be going back and forth between the front end and the CMS just so you admins can see the settings that I'll be talking about here. So, as you can see, I have the campus events category here, and you'll notice that it doesn't have the checkbox. I did that on purpose because I want to lead the user through an experience. If the checkbox was there, it would turn on every single category and every single location that's underneath those subcategories. So we don't want a muddy mess. We want to keep things streamlined and clean because, of course, with all the information going around and with an event like Move-In Day or any event where you got a lot of people coming in, you need to convey the information that you need to. For safety and of course to take away stress from the day, not only for your students and your campus visitors, but also your faculty as well. So if we come in here and click on the campus event category, it'll drill down into Move-In Day. And then once you get to the Move-In Day, you'll see that there are the three options here for the students to move into whatever hall they're going to be moving in. So you'll also notice that these are circular versus a square as well. That is because I utilize the single select setting. So when people come in here, they can only choose one. The reason why I would suggest that is so there isn't possible different information they have two on, and it muddies it up, as well as they might get confused by the additional information there. So this way they only need to see what they want, or actually need to see, which is moving in to the hall that they're moving into. Of course, when you take a look at this and I cycle through, you'll notice that really the only thing that changes is number 5 and that path line over there. So if I click on East Hall, just pay attention to this section over here, and you'll see that that path line moves as well as the marker, and that's just indicating where they're going to be moving in. So once I actually open up the category, you'll see exactly what I mean. So I created this as a step-by-step process, again, making it super simple for people. Student check-in, walkway to center field, find your table by your last name, drive to the student drop-off, and of course, here is your path to your hall. And of course, within them, you can have whatever type of information you want to convey, whether it's imagery or video or description information. And of course, the user can engage this however they want to. If they want to click on the map on its own via computer before they come, or of course, with their handheld device, as it is a mobile responsive platform. So you'll notice that everything again is the same all the way through until the bottom, and I'll show you how I created that experience there. So let's go ahead and jump into the CMS, and right here we have campus events, we have the Move-In Day category, and then we have our 3 categories for the halls: Andrews, East, and Lathrop Hall. So if you take a look here, when I click on student check-in parking, I have added that one location to all 3 of those categories because the parking spot is the same. It's not going to change for any of them. So you don't need to recreate 3 parking spots. You can just simply click on it and add it to whatever category you would like to, okay? The other thing you'll notice when I'm in there is rather than the marker being the green house, as you see here, I actually utilize the location icon override tool right here. So if you add an icon here, it'll actually override the parent icon that the location is living in. And why did I do that? Because I want to show on the map in a numerical fashion, step by step. And it helps that whole entire experience. Okay. So also, when you are doing a hierarchy with categories, there is normally that numerical list position that you would do. So I made this -200, 0 is the top. So if you go into the negative numbers, it'll take it straight to the top. And you can do that with locations as well, though I really don't recommend it normally, because obviously when people are looking for a location, they like seeing alphabetical order from top to bottom because it makes it easy to find a name. But when you're creating experience where you're taking people through a step-by-step process, you can just add a number to the front of the title, and that will automatically give it a hierarchy from top to bottom, from the least number to the ascending number going up, rather than utilizing the list position right here. But with that said, if you don't want to have a number in front, this is what you would do. You would utilize the list position here, and you can create whatever type of number organization you want to. I do recommend using blocks of 10. So I would just go in here, and the first one would actually be 0. So the top one would be 0, and then this one would be 10, 20, 30, 40. The only reason why I say that is because if you do need to make some changes, you now have 9 numbers of fudge space to move things around in here. So example, I needed to move 3 in between 1 and 2, then I could just make it 1 through 9 because this one is 0 and this one is 10. So if any of this needs a little bit more confirmation, or you need to have a little bit more understanding, of course, feel free to reach out to your client success manager and schedule a call to make sure that you can create the experience that you want to create. So with that said, that is the basics when it comes down to the category and the location information. So now what you can do is, again, make it easier for your students and your visitors and your faculty, right? So on the tours tab, you can see right here, I have move-in day tour examples with Andrews Hall as well as Lathrop Hall. You might notice that East Hall is missing, and that's missing for a purpose because I have it set to private, because you can actually send out private URLs to people. That's just going to be something that they need to see. So if it's something where you guys want to go as micro as giving people direction to the room that they're going to be having, you can do that. Obviously, you don't want to show that to everybody. You could send that off as a private link, but you can go as far as you want to with it, right? You can create whatever experience you want. So with that said, this is what you can do now with a tour experience, okay? It's the same information because you're pulling these locations from the sidebar. So all of the images and videos that you add along with the description information are all going to be the same. The thing that I feel that enhances this is, of course, it takes them through this step-by-step guided tour, as well as, if you've noticed, you can put in audio. And audio gives you the ability to humanize that experience a little bit more, give a little bit more direction, whatever it is that you want to convey, rather than having just paragraphs of information. So if I go ahead and click on the play tab, you'll hear exactly what it has to say.
Stay on campus. Follow the lead of our staff as they guide you into the open parking spots. On the next stop of this step-by-step move-in guide, head over to the west side of the parking lot and make your way to center field, where you will pick up your student ID and your room key.
So there you have it. They already know what they're going to expect on the next stop. They're going to pick up their student ID and their key. So as they make their way, if they forgot their mask, they can get a mask from one of the staff that is there on the bleacher side of things. So if you actually zoom in, you can see that's got the pathway there for them and everything. And of course, even more direction.
Here's the walkway that you will take to the 50-yard line to get your student ID and your room key. Make sure to wear your mask and practice social distancing. If you forgot your mask, that's A-OK. We will have staff on the south end of the bleachers to provide you one.
So, like I said, you can just give a little bit more information rather than having a bunch of information for people to read, but you can do both as well. It's all up to you. You create the experience that you want to. And of course, like I was saying before with the share button, you can share out tours directly from the tour right up here on the top left of the first stop or any stop. But of course, the first stop is the one that makes the most sense. So, you can share it straight to social media. You can email it to somebody. You can embed it into your web page. So if you want to have this right on your front page for your home screen for Move-In Day, you can, or have a button to it on your splash page. All up to you guys. And of course, that share button is also on the top right-hand corner of the map as well. And that's actually how I created these top bar buttons here. But before I do that, let's jump into the CMS right here and show you how these tours are created. So all you need to do is go ahead and jump into your Move-In Day category. You're going to click on whatever category you have created. So example again, Andrews Hall. And then I click on Map Tour, and it's easy as this. I just click on the locations and it automatically adds them. And being numerical, it also helps you out as well. So the reason why I wanted to show you this, I'm sure a lot of you know how to create tours already. And if not, we have a whole webinar experience that you can check out on the help site as well, talking about how to create tours. So I can show you that here at the end. But then what you're going to want to do is you're going to set your default zoom. And of course, you want to take off this tour path line because that will just be confusing for the user because you've already created polygons and polylines showing people where to drive and where to walk, all of that. Also, if you're using numbered icons like I had done within the locations, you're going to want to turn this off as well. It will have it numbered for you already, but it'll keep the marker icons that they saw on the front end. So it just keeps the experience similar. And of course, you have all of your private, visible, and schedule settings right here as well. But down here is where you guys can add the audio piece. And it's just as easy as clicking on here and adding your MP3 file. You do not need crazy amount of recording software. As I spoke to earlier, there are apps out there that are super good at recording for something like this. You do not need studio production quality. You can just be in a quiet room, set your phone on a towel, record away, and have fun with it, okay? And then, of course, from there, you just title it and give it a description, add an image, and save it and publish it. And you are ready to rock and roll. Now, as you can see within the CMS here, I have this one as a private tour. So for those of you that have never used the private setting, all you need to do is click on the tour itself and click share up here. And of course, you want to give a link to this tour. That way, if you do create private tours or specific tours for individuals, you can go ahead and just send that along, and only the person that has that URL will be able to see it on the front end experience. You can also use the scheduled setting as well, which is in here underneath Lathrop Hall. And that is just a time and date parameter on whatever you choose. Okay, so whatever time zone you're in, it will follow suit with you. So you'll just pick your date and time and when you want it to start and when you want it to end. It's that simple. So again, I know there's a lot of information going on here. So if you do need more information or just a little more clarity after this, make sure to schedule a call with your client success manager and they can help you create the experience that you want to create. One other thing I want to show you here before we move away from the map tours is the ability to group them and sort them. So as you can see here, admissions has a couple tours, department tours has a couple tours, and other tour examples and so on. So what you'll do is you'll go down here to the bottom where it says sort map tours, okay? And when you click on that, you'll actually be able to create whatever drop down you want to. So looks like we have a little bit of the footer in the way here. And imperfectly perfect. Look at that, huh? That's a-okay. Let me just go ahead and refresh here real quick. And once we do, we'll just jump back in the Tours tab, and I can now select that Sort Map Tour, and you can see how these are already hierarchied here, okay? What you would need to do if you want to create a new one is, of course, click the New Group, and from there, when you do that, it will be at the top of the list. Okay, you can type in whatever you want. So test, and I'm going to go ahead and save that. Now you can move it around wherever you want to. You can place it wherever you need to. Okay, you'll notice though that there's lines straight across, or if I just go over to the side, it'll actually go off kilter, which means you're going to place it underneath or nest it under something. Okay, so that's what you're going to want to do with these tours. You're going to want to move them underneath the grouping that you want, and that way it'll nest right underneath there. So very, very simple to do. And that way you guys can have multiple tours, but of course have some description to what they are so people know where they're going. All right, so now to the top bar buttons, ladies and gentlemen. That is a super cool, fun way to create experience as well. And it's a-okay to have things in multiple places because as individuals, we use things differently. So maybe somebody likes the sidebar versus the tour, or they like the top bar buttons, and that's what leads their eye. Who knows? So it's nice to have things in multiple areas. And what I'll show you here, I'll go ahead and hit the home button here so we can just start fresh. If I click on Move-In Day and I click on Andrews Hall, look what happens. All my information displays and my sidebar automatically opens up to all that information. So how did I do that? Extremely simple. What you'll do is you'll do this from the front end or from the CMS, whatever way you want. But if you're not an admin, you can do this yourself as well. All you'll need to do is open up the sidebar to whatever experience you want the user to be experiencing. So Andrews Hall is turned on. I'm going to open up the category, and you know what? Let's go ahead and just zoom in one more step as well. Just like that, okay? Center the map, and from there, you're going to click on the share button. You see that the link is copied, and when I open up a new tab and go ahead and paste that in, you're going to see exactly that experience. So how do you create that top bar button? That is also very simple. If you have not already created one, let me take you through it right now. So when you're in the CMS, you're going to go right up here to the account page. All right. And when you click on that account button, it'll open up to your account page, which will look like this. If you just have one map instance, you're not going to have all these maps here. So you'll just have your one. So you're not going to have to worry about that. But what you're going to do is you're going to create a group. And this group I called Move-In Day Info. So I can nest all the experiences I want to underneath that drop down versus having a multitude of buttons at the top. So when you create a group, as you'll see here, you're not going to have to pick the map, again, like I said, unless you have multiple map instances. But you can talk to your client success manager about how to do that best as well. But all you'll need to do is title it and then align it to whatever side of the top bar that you want to. Once that's done, all you need to do now is create an item. Okay, again, don't worry about the maps because most of you are just going to have one map instance. What you need to do is name it. Of course, you're going to name it whatever hall or whatever naming faction you want to. And then from there, you need to drop it into the group and then add your URL. So we'll go Move-In Day and then we'll add the URL like so. And we'll call it, Andrews Hall. Well, we've already created this, so I'm not going to save this, but you get the point. You just submit it, and then you'll have a little save button that shows up here. Now, I do just want to talk to target, alignment, and style type because it's there in front of you. You don't need it because the target, well, I suppose you should have it open in the same window. You can open in another window, but that doesn't make sense. But the default is the same window, so just go ahead and leave that. The alignment you don't have to deal with because you're placing it within a group and you've already aligned it. The style type you don't have to worry about either because a group button is already a primary button. Okay, so unless you're doing standalone buttons, which I don't think you will be doing with a scenario like this, don't worry about that. As well as latitude, longitude, and zoom, you don't need to worry about that either because that is already pulled into the URL that you have created by utilizing that share button. Okay, so once you have all of the things added, then you can create a hierarchy with the drop-down menu as well. And it is a little bit different. It isn't top to bottom. It is unfortunately bottom to top right now. So you'll see right here, here's the group. These are all under Move-In Day, A, E, L, and then I have East Hall Moving Guide here because I actually even created a tour experience in the drop-down too, which I'll show you here in just a second. So, but if I go ahead and move Andrews Hall above East Hall and hit save, now when I go to the front end experience and I go ahead and refresh the screen and I click on the drop down, you'll see that East Hall is now above Andrews. So I just wanted to show you that very, very easy to do. So All of these are the sidebar category use cases right here. As you can see, it automatically changes to Lathrop Hall and Andrews Hall and East Hall. But again, like I said, you can actually put a tour in here as well. So it'll just lead people right to it. Boom. Just like that, they are now into the tour for East Hall. It is super simple, super fun too, and I'm really excited to see the experiences that you guys create, not just with Move-In Day, but of course all the different events like we were speaking to earlier, fundraisers, alumni, commencement, and so on. Make it super simple. And trust me when I say it'll be much more of a stress-free day. So anyways, one more thing I want to show you before we go, because we're coming up here on 20 minutes and I want to be cognizant of everybody's time here today. The help site is right here in the CMS, okay? If you're not an admin, ask the person that is your map manager or admin to get you a link to this site. It's a great place to go visit because we have a ton of information in there for people to review as help articles, but sometimes you might find something new about the map platform that you didn't really know about that you can incorporate and make better experiences and so on. So, but what I wanted to show you was right here. It's the webinars. You can go in here and this one will be recorded and added into here. And these are all of our past webinars here. So go ahead, have some fun, check these out, learn something new. And again, please feel free to reach out to any of us at any time. We're always happy to help out and creating the experience that you want to create. So when you're successful, we're successful, and we love it when you're successful. So I'll talk to you guys in just a second here, and we will jump into the live Q&A. All right, everybody. So there you go. Like I said, lots of information there. So make sure to reach out to your client success manager if you have any thoughts, ideas, or questions that need a little bit more confirmation. Just wanted to jump into a couple of our clients that actually have some live data right now on their maps. As you can see, Amherst College here has a path line for people to follow. They use the polyline to utilize that, as well as all these tent areas around here, just so they can point out or share this information with people when they get to campus. And another one here is Colorado State University. You can see that they have a ton of information over here for their check-in locations. I just highlighted a couple of them for you here with the check-in locations, as well as the testing tents. So again, there are many different ways to do this, and you guys can make whatever experience you want to. So looking forward to any sort of questions that you may have.